But
in the land of aphids, the man with the ladies is the king. Ah,
Yeah.
Fly, fly.
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to, but you probably should, and you probably are, and that's why we like you. This week on Chill Filtered, we are drinking Minor Case Rye.
The name of the podcast.
Hey, that's the name of the podcast, and that's not the name of the podcast. But before we get into the whiskey, before we get into anything else, let's talk about some business. Like us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube.
Hate us on YouTube.
You know, I don't.
But subscribe.
We've been doing this a lot longer as a podcast than on YouTube, but it's cool to see our numbers grow on YouTube, and we'll take whatever we can get, you know. And so, if you're one that watches, what's that?
As long as we don't get shrinkage.
No shrinkage. But if you're watching on YouTube right now, please do us a big favor and just hit the like button or subscribe if you haven't already. And that's the business for the week. Robbie, how have you been doing? What's that?
Oh, gosh, I'm schwitzing. Oh, almost knocked me out. I'm good, man.
Yeah?
It's been good. Hey, I'm back. I just had to wipe all the sweat off my brow.
Nice.
No, things are good. Like it's my first. Oh, geez, look at that sweat. Ugh. Put a clean shirt on though.
And if you're not on YouTube, good. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, probably. No, it's like the first full week of my summer break with the kiddos, and like the first week, and then we have Not Virginia coming up next week. So we'll have to talk about that and plan around that.
Oh, okay.
But like the first week is always like, here's my to-do list of things I need to get done. / now we're taking a vacation and someone's coming to watch the house. So it's just been like full get stuff organized and done mode.
Nice.
Oh, and on top of that, I have a project going that is a lot of work, a lot of moving. We're getting rid of all the rock in our backyard, which is like, gosh, a ton of rock. But
I remember rocks there.
Oh, it rocked,
baby.
Rid
of, like the blocks. Like, didn't you have like?
We have that fire pit with the stone. I'm not getting rid of that.
Yeah.
I'm just getting rid of like around the trees. We have a ton of rock, and it always ends up in the grass. And you're walking.
What do you do with all those rocks?
Well, let me talk about the rocks that I got. I'm still Robbie from the block. We have one friend who is he's taking some up to his cabin, so he'll come over and I'll load some into like his truck. And then other than that, we're just taking him out to Papa G's farm, and he's got some areas that got washed out from the river this year. So we're just kind of putting some rock back down. I don't even know if he needs it. Papa G's just the kind of guy. It's like, bring out the rock. Yeah. So doing that, which has been a lot. And so like, I'm also using it as a lesson for Amara. I'm like, this is hard work. Like like when I was a kid, I was like 9 years old carrying railroad ties with my dad, and I would mow the lawn, and I would he would give me a list of things to do when he was at work, and it was like grown man work. And I realized, but I was like I was an impressionable young man who was like, I'll do anything to please you, Dad. I'm a man. I'm tough. Right. So using that with Amara, and like, it's been crazy though, because she's like at this age where she goes out with her friends, and like her friends want to do stuff, which is awesome. I love it. She's got great friends, good influences. Her grades have been awesome. She just doesn't know how to do hard manual labor, which I think is a way that kind of like you get in there, right? Like, and you grind until it's done. Yeah. Like I was like, hey, I need you to pull all the rock back from these trees. Like, that's a pretty easy job. And I showed her what I needed to do. And she's like, my wrists hurt after 5 minutes. I'm like, that's why it's work, honey. You just got to be tough and get it done.
Stronger.
You'll be stronger tomorrow. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. That's been good. Getting the house ready, like starting up. So like my big thing with the girls every summer is like when the twins are little, and I feel bad for Mara because she just kind of has to tag along. But I'm like, we're going to visit as many parks as we can, and we're going to find our favorite park.
Nice.
So hit up some of our favorite parks this week. I don't know. Life is good.
Where'd you go? Did you go to what is the Camelback? That's one of my favorite parks.
No, we haven't done that. We've done that before. One of their favorites is a park that's new South Meridian. It's called Discovery Park. It's got, I like it too. It's a lot of fun. It's got like these zip lines on it, and they sat on it. Nice. Like, so we always, like, my thing is, let's get there early before anyone gets there, and I don't have to worry about like parents not parenting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because when it gets busy, there's like these parents that are just like, they're at the park, they'll play. And it's like their kid turns into like, sucks to your ass, Mar, give me the conch, right? Like it turns into Lord of the Flies. So I'm like, let's get there before other kids do. So it's been nice. And before it gets hot too. So that's that. Yeah. So I don't know. Summertime's good. We've been having thunderstorms all week. We got some hail the other day. And I'm like, we need a new roof in like the next 5 to 10 years. I'm like, hail damage, baby. Let's get that insurance going. Like, bring the hail.
Claim,
yeah. So
right before we moved to this house, now they just had an insurance claim for roof replacement that caused roof replacement. So
yeah. Do you guys get a lot of like thunderstorms and stuff? You're pretty close to the coast.
Yeah, we can. But like hail, you probably have a better chance in Boise to get hail than here.
Yeah.
At least like damaging hail.
Yeah.
We
don't get it too often.
Buzzing.
We had a good one the other day.
Oh yeah.
What is that?
On Alberta Premium Cask Strength Rye.
This
nice. Specific one is 50 or 63.5%.
I'm just having myself the everyday man, not the fancy Advance in Madness man whiskey. Just Wild Turkey 101. The simple man for simpler times. Yeah. One other thing that's been fun. The twins have, like, I told you about the roly-polies a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So we have a tree that's got a ton of aphids on it, and all of a sudden we're getting ladybugs showing up, and we've been learning how. Yeah, but we've been learning how to keep ladybugs as pets.
Nice. Fun.
Yeah, so like it's so cool because like they're crossing this threshold where some bugs are nice, some bugs are annoying, and some bugs are bad.
Yeah,
and like I'm sure we have a million roly-polies and ladybugs in our house right now, but I don't care because the girls aren't scared. Like they're doing well, and like they're crawling all over them, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't find my ladybug!" It's like it's on your chest. So it's been fun. Did you know? Cool. Do you know? What do you think ladybugs eat?
Aphids.
Besides aphids and mealyworms, like what could if you
Couldn't
had?
Tell you.
Oh boy, it's a. 10%.
I know they're like carnivorous, basically.
Yeah, but they like the sweets, brother. They like raisins, so you got to soak raisins in some water for about 1 minute, and then you put them in there. And also, they like a 10% simple syrup solution. You put in a cotton ball and they eat that. Yeah,
nice.
But that's when they're fully grown. Probably not.
Or they just suck on it.
I would assume they just kind of like. Do they have a little straw mouth? They probably don't. No.
I don't know.
So what it is I guess when they're like in the larval stage, when they're like weird looking funky lion beetles or whatever, that's when they eat a lot of aphids. They still eat them when they're bigger, but they're like
when I was like deep in the beginnings of my growing of peppers, I would have aphid problems, and then they're like, yeah, just buy a bunch. You can like literally buy ladybugs at the store and just release them on your, and they'll just eat up all the aphids. But I wouldn't assume
I see you
hang
like
around. Yeah. But
in the land of aphids, the man with the ladies is the king. Bah!
Yeah.
Fly.
How did you know that was my nickname in college?
What's that? The man with the ladies?
The man with the ladies.
Hi-yo!
But yeah, my thought is...
Can I pause you there for a second?
Pause me there for a second.
My wife she's so mean. She's taking that joke, and every time she'll be like, oh man, clean out the sink. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's gross and disgusting. She's like, used to be your nickname in college. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. Don't turn this. You took a good thing and you made it bad. I can say that about myself, gosh darn it, but you don't do that to me.
Just pull off more D's nuts jokes with her. Women love that.
That was also my nickname in college, pulling off D's nuts. I don't know. That didn't land. Sorry. Anyway, you were saying aphids, ladybugs.
If you release all these ladybugs, what's not to say they're gonna fly away and just not eat your aphids?
Well, supply and demand, man.
Yeah, but like, what if? I don't know. I'm like, release all these ladybugs and they eat the aphids and they're like, peace, and then they never continue to eat the aphids. Like I don't know. Good question for a entomologist or potentially a botanist.
more importantly, like amongst aphids, are they also like, I'm an aphid, I'm an alpha, look at these beefids, sheep?
Yeah. Do you ever do the Wordle?
Yeah.
So one day it was aphid, and I got it in 2.
Nice. What's
Yeah,
your starting
I was
word
really
again?
proud
You
of myself.
mentioned it before.
No, I don't think I've mentioned it on the podcast because I don't want people to know. But
Because
that
you
day I had, okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but I was reading that morning, and I felt like it was like
know how to
divine
read?
intervention.
You know how
What's
to
that?
read? What? You know how
I
to
can
read?
read
Why am I doing Whiskey World News when you know how to read?
because I do the history. I'm the history guy. um, but I was like reading something that morning, and I felt like it was like, use this as your word today, and my first word was other, and then I just got
And then you
straight
got
to aphid.
aphid?
Yeah, right after that, and like
That
no
makes
one
no
else got
sense.
it in my crew in like less than 4 easily. So I was really proud of
Aphid,
myself that day.
APHID?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
But the H in the middle really sold everything. And I was like, I doubt it, but let's do it. And it worked. So
That sounds like
like,
a botanist sitcom. H in the
yeah,
middle. Got all these
H in the
aphids.
middle. It's like Malcolm in the Middle. But
But with an H. And full
yeah,
of aphids.
yeah,
Getting bullied by these ladybugs.
yeah. Ladies, man.
Did you know when you got aphids, they
Mhm.
drop like sticky solution?
Mhm.
I didn't know that. I just thought
That's
like,
like
dang,
that's
this
how it
tree is.
damages. They can eat into the plants, but they could also like leave something that damages them later, basically.
I didn't know that. I was like, maybe this tree just matured and like the driveway's super sticky all the time now. I
Nope.
don't know.
Um,
I'm an idiot. I will. And then Papa G set me straight today when I went over there to drop rock off.
nice. He's like, let me teach
I
you
did
something,
rock and rock,
Bravo.
brother. Yeah.
So when you are on your not Thanksgiving, summer break, um, how often do you drink? I'm just curious.
Um, it gets easier to,
Yeah,
but I don't know, not too often.
yeah,
Like, well, here's the tricky thing. So I tried not to drink unless it's the weekend or unless Chelsea like and I have something. But then
yeah.
like she works part-time because she's the bread maker and baker.
And candlestick maker.
Yep. And so like then we'll like when she's off, we'll invite people over or do other things. Oh my gosh, dude, that just reminds me. So this weekend,
Yeah,
so we'll drink more often. This weekend, I had some of my coworkers over from my hallway,
that's right. You told me
and
about
I
that.
did the tri-tip and stuff, and had a lot of. Okay, I can keep up with the drinking with young people, but I cannot
Yeah.
keep up with the late nights. They came at 4. They went through a fifth of rum, a fifth of
Dang.
tequila, and
Wow.
I stopped
Yeah.
because I'm trying not to be completely reckless. Although I did take an awesome pratfall on my wheelbarrow to the delight of
Nice.
my daughters, and my coworkers like, dang, Rob, you
Uh,
really took that wheelbarrow out. Um, and then there was probably like 25 cans of like miscellaneous truly type stuff like we cleaned up, and I was like, these
oh
kids
yeah,
can
yeah.
drink. Here's the kicker, here's the worst part. And
Uh-huh.
so it's like it's like midnight, it's like actually probably like 11:30. I'm like, hey guys, I'm sorry, we got to get to bed, we got to raise these children in the
Yeah.
morning.
And they're like, no.
No, they were like, I can't drive, and I was like, I'll drive you home, no problem. I had to drive all the way from our house to Boise State and back.
Oh wow.
I didn't get to bed till like 12:30, and that's what killed me, man. I was like, I am
Yeah.
so dang tired. I took a nap the next day with the girls, which was a
Nice.
godsend. But yeah,
Oh,
man,
that's awesome.
I can't keep up with the late nights.
Yeah. How? So wait, what grade is the twins in?
Twins, they did kindergarten this year. We're gonna redo kindergarten again next year.
Okay. May I
Yeah,
ask why?
because you can't. No, no,
Okay.
they're doing well. Like we just want them. So kind of what we noticed is with Amara was like she gets stuff, but it's usually like the second half, like beginning of second semester where stuff from first semester kind of clicks.
Yeah.
And we always kind of regretted not holding her back a little bit. So we're like, you know what? Like, we'll just hold the twins back for the year, and hopefully, like, it'll be. Plus,
mentally
like, if they're
ready.
born on their due, yeah, just kind of ahead of the curve a little
Plus
bit. But if they're born,
yeah,
if they were born on their due date, they wouldn't have started kindergarten until this year anyway. So, and then like on top of it, just socialization, like with COVID and stuff, they weren't,
totally
around kids, and they weren't in daycare. So that's why.
Their birthday's the 28th?
No, I messed that up. It's the 30th, and Chelsea got on me. She was like, I was like, hey, Chelsea, guess what? They're going to have the baby on the 28th. And she's like, that's cool.
Kids that you forgot their birthday.
You're not excited about that? And she's like, why would I be excited about that? Other than them having the baby. I'm like, it's the twins' birthday. And she's like, you idiot. You meander, but now you're full of inaccuracies. So yeah, no, I messed it up. I know, like, here's the thing. I am bad. So like, Chelsea was born on Flag Day, but in the school districts I taught in previously, like the last day of school was like typically like the 15th. So I always forget 14 and 15. Then we were married on.
Wait, so June 15th?
Yeah, like a June 15th.
But what is her birthday? Is it coming
the 14th?
Up?
It's the 14th, Flag Day.
Okay. Hey.
And then like Amara's birthday is the 27th. Our anniversary is the 28th, and the twins were born on the 30th. Separate months. Yeah. But I always mix those numbers up. So I'm bad at remembering little things like that.
Do you remember my birthday?
Nope. It's September. September?
Nah.
It's June?
Nah.
When is it?
July 9th.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. But we're about half birthdays because you're January 5th.
Screw you for remembering that, man. That ain't make me feel bad.
Yeah. So we're about 6 months apart, which is cool.
Yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had my half birthday.
Nice.
You didn't call me. You didn't write.
Half birthday is July 5th.
Oh, is it July? I thought it was June. Gosh, I'm bad with numbers.
It's okay. It's okay.
Anyway, you know what? Let's stop dragging Robbie through the mud. How are you, Cole? How are things?
Not much to say.
I said enough.
We're just prepping for baby number 2. We're really excited, and like I've said, Heather has to go in twice a week, and every time they get with her, yes, the baby is small, but the baby is growing and very healthy otherwise. So that's the good news.
Is the baby getting enough mealyworms and aphids?
Yeah, well, definitely. She's a ladybug, so she's eating plenty of aphids. So she's my little ladybug. Did I tell you my nickname for her? I've already decided it.
What's that?
So I call Beck. I call her Sugar Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And but I've decided to call baby number 2 Pop Tart.
Okay,
which I think is a good name.
It's cute.
Or a good nickname. Yeah.
PT. Pop Tart. P-Tart.
Part-time.
Petart. Yeah. Boom. Yeah. Nailed it.
Physical therapy. Yeah.
Man.
So that's it. That's my week for you.
No, perfect. Because I got a funny story about names.
Tell your story.
So we're driving out in the truck, and I got the phone going because it's an old truck, and I got to replace so much stuff on there. But we're listening to some music, and the Cranberries comes on, and they go, "Who's this? Who's singing this?" And I go, "That's Dolores O'Riordan. Isn't that a pretty name?" And someone's go, "No, Dolores is pretty." And Junie goes, I think Dolores May is a prettier name. And Finley goes, no. I think, hold on, give me a second to remember. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Dolores Margaret.
Dolores Gemhole is better.
That's a great name, Finley.
Mulva.
Yeah. So
if you would have said Dolores Mulva, I'd have been dying. But,
yeah, that would have been
Dolores
good.
Gemhole.
My grandmother's name is Dolores. Dolores.
I like the name Dolores.
Mullen, not Mulva. So it's really close. Mullen.
That's close to Mulva.
Yeah, it really is. Dolores Mulva.
Apparently, anyway. I don't know much, but apparently Dolores is pretty close to Mulva.
Yeah. So, rest. Anyway, What do you say, Robby?
I think we should.
Let's go to that whole, history segment. But first, before we get to that whole history segment, we got to send it to break. So here we go to break. Welcome back, everyone. For you notes to get to, hopefully we had a great drink along last Friday after this recording or this episode has come out. Sorry for the late notice, everyone. That was on us.
Robby's a jerk.
But wanted to also give a no.
You didn't deny. I said Robby's a jerk, and you didn't. I am.
No, I said it wasn't your fault.
It was.
I just wanted to give a shout out to one of our favorite Tasmanian listeners, Joel Bradbury, but more so to his wife, Emma. So Joel, tell Emma she's awesome, who painted the most beautiful owl painting for my little upcoming baby girl. I'm so excited for it. Also, thanks again for last week to American Woman Spirits Company for answering our questions, getting us the bottles, and letting us do an objective review. It's one of those times where you're like, I really hope this is good. And it was good.
It was
yeah. So today we're drinking Minor Case Rye. This is definitely our first Minor Case Rye episode, but it's not our first Limestone Branch Distillery product. And I didn't even realize the connection there until doing the history for this episode. That there's the Yellowstone bourbon is a Limestone Branch Distillery product, as well as Yellowstone single malt that they also put out. But for those that don't remember, Limestone Branch, like I just said, behind Yellowstone, as well as now we know Minor Case Rye. Episode 86, Robby and I drank Yellowstone limited edition bourbon from 2019. Anyway, let's get to the background. So today I wanted to talk about a family as opposed to a distillery. And we'll get into the distillery a little bit, but let's talk about the Beam family. So Limestone Branch Distillery was started by a Beam, not only one Beam, but two Beams. But there are a lot of Beams out there. And even thinking back to some of the descendants of Jim Beam family name, let's think of some brands that are directly impacted by a member of the Beam family. And you're going to be surprised. There's a lot. I'm not even going to cover them all, and there's plenty here. So anyway, early times, a guy named John Henry, also went by Jack Beam, built the Early Times Distillery and produced Early Times brands.
Oh, okay.
Four Roses, get this, Four Roses. Charles Beam became the master distiller at Four Roses Distillery. He introduced two bourbons that we know and love today.
While since I could say.
Yeah, you can get the bourbon stained off your shirt. I don't know.
Well, just make sure you clean it off with a mud shovel.
Yeah, I love that bass on the mud shovel.
I can't.
No, it's not a bass. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know what instrument that was. You just did.
It was a guitar, but it's like heavily,
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Got the harmonics on it.
Yeah, exactly. You know what guitars do. But anyway, Charles Beam became the master distiller at the Four Roses Distillery. He introduced two bourbons we know and love today, which is Benchmark and one of my favorite brands, if not my favorite brand of all time, Eagle Rare Bourbon. So now both owned by Sazerac, the brands. But Charles Beam introduced those two brands.
Let's talk about the Sazerac family.
Yeah.
Philippi Sazerac Thomas III decided to buy all the companies. The end. That's why
a guy named Guy Beam, who was the son of a Beam that I will get to in a moment.
What a guy.
Eventually, basically this guy had a kid named Jack Beam, another Jack Beam, not John Henry. And he worked for the Barton Distillery. Guy's uncle, Joseph Beam, who went by Mr. Joe, worked at the Stitzel Distillery, which eventually became the Stitzel Weller Distillery. Mr. Joe also worked at the Heaven Hill Distillery. Heaven Hill had Harry, Earl, Parker, and Craig Beam, all master distillers at Heaven Hill. Parker was even behind Evan Williams, and the line Parker's Heritage was named after him. A guy named Elmo Beam worked as the
guy in
first...
Elmo. I want to be in the Beam. I wish I was born into the Beam family just for the name.
Cool name.
Don't even put me into the distillery.
There's Guy, there's Harry. Yeah. Anyway, Elmo was the first master distiller of Maker's Mark back in like the 50s or whatever. And the list goes on. And don't even get me started about the No family, who are technically Beams in their blood. Basically, they were the No family started when a husband married one of the, I believe this is the case, a husband married a Beam wife.
Whoa, Cole.
Stop.
I'm not even gonna get you started.
Okay, cool. Don't even let me get started. No to that.
See what Cole, I did there? In reply, don't let me get started.
There's this I studied like I don't know how to put it. Like I studied speech stuff in high school, but not I don't directly. Think you
did. If you call it speech stuff, I don't
want to call it oratory something. It sounds weird.
Hello,
oration.
I'm a good speech stuff kind of guy.
I can speech stuff real good.
I know the best words. I'm speeching this stuff right now.
But I studied it in my Latin class. It was kind of weird because we studied a guy named Cicero, who was a really good orator. And he would just speak and people would be like, that sounds really good. And you understand it when you read it in Latin. You're like, oh, wow, I see what he did there. He like used this part of speech to convey his point without fully conveying his point. It was pretty cool how he did it. But one of the, this is a cool lesson in Latin parts of, or figures of, what do you call it? Yeah, figures of speech is there's something called a praeteritio, which in Latin literally translates to I pass over. And in one of the Catilinarian speeches from Cicero in right before BC days, he said, and I pass over the fact of Catalys's beach homes in this area. Basically, like this guy was stealing money and like being very corrupt is basically what it was. And he was using this money to buy his own beach house somewhere else. But he's like, I'm not even going to mention the beach houses. But the funny thing is that by saying I'm not even going to mention the beach home, he did mention the beach home. So it's like as if I'm not, but I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, don't even get me started.
We came for the history.
But now you got the Latin history.
And you just took us to school. I love Latin, man. I enjoyed that class. I took 7 years of Latin. Anyway, the list goes on. Yep. So anyway, let's talk about what's special with this bottle we're drinking today. The father of Guy Beam that I kind of mentioned earlier, his name, get this, his name was Minor Case Beam. I want a Beam name!
Yeah. So wouldn't that be cool? Yeah. So MC Beam Distilling Company he started in the late 1800s.
Beam?
MC Beam. Like MC Hammer.
This?
Yep. You with a U cannot touch this. So
this
anyway.
Is too legit.
Too legit to quit. Keep bringing them on, man.
Cole. Don't hurt him, Cole.
Too legit to quit?
Yeah, don't hurt him, Hammer. Don't hurt him, Cole.
Oh, gotcha. So anyway, his son was named Guy, and Guy had two grandsons named Steve and Paul Beam. I only know that one song by MC Hammer. You can't touch this.
MC Hammer was Amara's first actual concert.
Nice. Was it in Boise?
It was, yeah.
Nice. I look forward to Beck's first concert.
Her first real concert that she was excited about was this last year, but that was her first one we took her to. Boise Music Fest. MC Hammer. Her first real concert?
Yeah.
It was Churches.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I dig them. Yeah, a little bit. Anyway, Paul and Steve Beam started their own distillery in Lebanon, Kentucky, called the Limestone Branch Distillery in 2010. So add 2 more Beams to the list. Is it owned by Beam Suntory, you ask? No, not these days.
I was gonna say, yeah, nope.
It was purchased by Luxco in 2014, and Luxco now owned by MGP. But the Limestone Branch Distillery makes few products. Mainly, it's 2 whiskey brands at least. There's the Yellowstone, which has bourbons and single malts, and then there's Minor Case Rye, and apparently named, of course, after Steve and Paul's great grandfather, Steve and Paul. It's like Steve and Paul from Whiskey Del Bach. But I digress. Do they source their whiskey? Yes. Luxco is owned by MGP, and MGP's basically always made the juice for them. So, what we're drinking today, Minor Case Rye. They like it a juice. Oh, he like it a juice.
Wait. You know, like it a juice?
Yeah. You know, like it a juice. That was one of the only. That's the only SNL sketch where like it had a very fourth wall ending to me that I've seen at least.
I don't remember the ending.
So the ending, David Spade walks
Cole,
on.
Stop.
Tell
me the ending in Latin.
Okay. Devidis Spadus ambulate. No, I won't go too deep. So he walks onto the set and he goes, I think we need to end the sketch. And he's like, oh, you need to end the sketch. And like it just kept going on. I'm like, yes, we need to end the sketch. And I don't know if it was like ad-lib. Yeah, but I have a feeling David Spade was like told by Lord Michael that like, hey, get on there and end this sketch right now.
Like stuff that like I listen to on SNL, like endings of sketches are hard to come by because they'll come up with like these characters, and so then
So when I was taking part in Madison Story Slams, there was this one guy, I forget his name, it was like Ryan or something like that, but he would always basically end his. Yeah,
Ryan Beam. I am Ryan Beam. I'm the architect in the family. Oh, shut up. We're distillers.
But he would always end his story with, and I never know how to end these things. So, and that would be it. And he'd throw up his hands. So anyway, Minor Case Rye was introduced in 2017. This is 2 years aged, and then it is finished. But we'll get into that. 90 proof. And a minimum rye content rye whiskey. The mash bill is 51% rye, so minimum there. 45% corn and 4% malted barley. It is aged 2 years in new charred oak and then finished in sherry casks, sherry butts perchance, for up to 8 months.
Drive me nuts.
But and the total wine price $40. So that's my history for the week. Let's crack into this.
And I got a bottle. Pop. I got the bottle.
It's been a while.
It's a cool looking bottle. I know it's been a while since I've been because I always share bottles with friends and I drink them, and then I picked this one up a couple months ago.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a cool bottle. It's very like Wild West, I'd assume. I don't know.
Yeah, super Wild West. Oh, that was quite the pop. That was like a squeaky cheese pop.
I don't like squeaky cheese.
Like squeaky cheese curds?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
For the flavor or for the squeakiness?
The texture, and I mean, I don't know. I think it's probably the texture because I just like it's like.
Well, rubber. Wisconsin doesn't want you either.
Why would you say that?
Because you gotta like the squeaky curds in Wisconsin. That's how you're liked by the state of Wisconsin. Is hey, what do you think of these squeaky cheese curds? And you're like, holy crap, man! And then Wisconsin's like, get him out of here.
I just wanted to drink with my friend, and now I'm hurt by an entire state.
It's okay, Robbie. No, the whole state of Iowa doesn't like me, so.
Why does Iowa not like you?
I don't know. That's a terrible joke.
I don't like Iowa. Their corn sucks.
Yeah, and they're too much posers of Idaho.
There they are.
Posers. Sorry if you're an Iowa listener. We love you.
Yeah. No, there's a bike ride in Iowa where you ride across the entire state of Iowa. Oh, and wow. I think it looks like, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a 6-day thing, and it looks like a lot of fun.
Nice. You should do it.
It's in the summer.
Nice.
Maybe in 5 summers when I'm old and decrepit and you're able to get away from Iowa. House.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of this nose? I like it.
It's pleasant. It's a little light.
It is 2 years, but I think the sherry's bringing out a fruitiness to it.
There is some fruitiness to it for sure. It is a little light, but it's not bad.
How often do you drink this?
Gosh. Well, since I'm a horrible friend and Wisconsin hates me, I think I sent you the sample 2 or 3 years ago.
At least. I looked it up and I saw a mention that it was on the list in 2021. So it's been at least 2 or so years. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we finished that first bottle, and I just recently, like, you brought it up and was like, oh, this might come up again. So I bought another bottle. So
there is some kind of the rye spice I'm a little bit getting, but I think it's overshadowed by a fruity, not dark fruits, but I wouldn't call it appley either. Maybe like pears a little bit.
There's also like a light, earthy, and I don't want to, I'm not pinpointing it, but I'm just saying kind of like a leathery note or like medicinal. Like that's not leather earthy, but there is like a slight more, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. There's another note there on the nose that's not bad, but the nose in general is good, just light.
So I just took a sip. I think it's very palatable. I think this is a good rye, even a good starting rye. Like if you want to introduce someone to rye, this is probably it. Especially for the price. I think you could outdo it with a few, but I do think this is sweet. It's got a nice sharp sweetness to it, like that hard candy as opposed to the chewy caramel we talked about in the past. I think the sherry brings out a lot, and it really doesn't taste like a 2-year-old. It tastes a little older than a 2-year-old to me. Last week we tried
American
Woman rye, and I think this might beat that in my opinion. I'm not sure. That had a nice sharpness to it that I really enjoyed.
That had that this like smoother, super minty, which I liked. This, I think the sherry gets some stone fruit in there. It's like but it's like an apricot-y kind of a taste to it. I don't think the sherry's overdone at all. But it's really, this is like super sweet. I think mouthfeel wise, it's got like a nice refreshing viscosity that isn't light, but it's not like honey heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like mouthfeel wise. So yeah, no, this is not bad.
I think you got a great point there. The sherry is not overdone. I think it's done just right for the age and for everything that's going on with this rye. I think nice finish. I hate to use the word smooth, but this is smooth.
It is.
It's well-rounded on the sweetness, easy to put down, and the 90 proof is probably a good proof point on this. I could see it being a little heavier, but it's working at 90 proof.
For like, it tastes like you said, it could be a good introductory rye. Like, is it fully rye? No. It's not like, you don't get a lot of that rye spice. You get a little bit of it, which is nice. Yeah. But it's like there's a lot of sweetness. And I think if you went up in proof, you would lose that. Yeah. And I mean, like this, I don't know, for $40, it's sippable for sure. Like it's not going to disappoint somebody, but it's also maybe something that someone can sip on and be like, oh, this is okay. Like maybe I want to explore this a little bit more. So
yeah.
No, I'm getting a little bit more of like whatever earthy or medicinal note on the nose. Kind of dampen the sweetness.
With water, you're saying?
Yeah, with water.
I didn't even think to smell it yet, but I did sip it. And the palate is lighter for sure, but it brings out the sherry a little more. And it's still pleasant. I'd say this is still pretty good. A little more vapory on the nose, though.
A little more vapory on the palate. I think you lose some of that mouthfeel that was nice on meat. Yeah,
for sure.
Maybe I'm getting a little pepper. Gosh, maybe like, I know it's maybe that's what malted barley is more like. I'm getting like kind of a charcoal. Maybe that's the note. I don't know. But I am getting a little bit more pepper on the finish with this.
So
So malted barley, they have to stop the malting process, right?
What do you mean?
So you said there's malted barley in this.
Yes, they do have to stop it, and usually they'll heat it up. Sometimes they have like legit ovens, but sometimes they'll use charcoal and stuff.
Because it's something along that lines where it's like an earthy. Yeah. It's almost kind of like you would find with a Scotch or something, where like you get that smoky
like
kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I gotcha.
I don't know. I get a little bit of that, but like with this, it definitely goes peppery towards the end of the finish, which is kind of nice and less sweet for sure. It's a little bit more savory, but water's okay.
I think this is my second sip on the water pour, I didn't enjoy it as much. It brought out a too florally, too dried apricot, like full of that dried apricot, which you could expect sometimes from a younger whiskey or potentially a sherry finished whiskey. But the second sip wasn't as good. I much prefer the neat.
It's summertime. I didn't have to chew as much and do like the weird. Yep, you got it. That's interesting because I wasn't getting super florally. Like I was definitely getting pepper. Yeah, definitely much more savory. And ice seems to have killed the nose.
Yep, the nose is gone.
I wonder.
Yeah, just light.
Do you think maybe if we started with, I mean, assume like this has become kind of a trope with us where we get to ice and ice kills it. I wonder if we did it in reverse. If that would change anything.
I bet it
Science?
But I don't want to start there. Like usually ice is the worst. I want to start.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it too is you got to start with original, which is not Latin, maybe French.
French dressing.
Fries.
You know, it's not that bad with ice. Yeah, it's pretty good rye with ice. It's not bad at all.
No, I think kind of what I'm getting is a mix between neat and water. Like I'm still getting kind of those like savory, peppery kind of notes, but it's a little bit sweeter. Like I'm getting some of like the sherry dried apricot kind of stone fruit thing going.
Yeah.
I should have cleansed my palate in between because I don't know if I'm just like hungover. I'm not hungover, but like hanging on to that pepper note that I was getting.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I prefer the neat the best out of these three.
Second,
I mean, like I said, second would probably be ice.
Yeah, same for sure. Neat was sweet. Iced was nice. Water, don't bother.
Yeah.
You checking messages? What are you doing over there?
I had my wife texted me, "Hey, should I take this thing out of the oven?" I'm like, "Yes." So,
yeah, no, I gotta put some sourdough in the oven when I get out here. It's finishing rising.
Oh, nice.
I lied to you
when you.
No, well, I put it on the parchment paper and stuff. No, Chelsea's the breadwinner and bread baker, like I alluded to.
And candlestick maker.
Yes. Oh, nice. Well done. Second time around.
Yeah.
We'll make it better. The second time.
Does she make it from scratch, like from a sourdough starter?
Yeah, she's got a starter. This is our third starter.
Oh, Dude, I still have my first starter from April 2020.
Nice.
Yeah,
we're on our third one since then.
I'm really proud of that fact.
Did you make your starter yourself?
I did. I started from like wild yeast. Yeah.
Like from the air in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Proud of you, man.
Did you borrow it from someone?
Yeah. Well, our first one, can't remember where we got our first one from. Oh, from our friend the Westerbergs, Chuck and Stephanie, who are beautiful people.
Beautiful people.
They always have been, but they got a little prettier when they became Patreon members. Chillfilter.com/. Patreon.com/shufflefilter.
That's right.
And then we got the second one from my good friend Allison Doyle, and then we killed that. But we gave part of that one to Papa G,
and he saved it.
Wow! And then he gave us part of that one back. So
it's the circle of life.
It's beautiful, baby.
Yeah. So what do you think about rating for this one?
Oh gosh, I've been talking about yeast.
I've been.
What do you think,
boys?
So what you think?
I'm gonna go with 8.0. I don't think it's like blowing my mind, but it's a trusty rye, and it's pleasant. It is sweet. It's got a lot going on. I think the sherry finish rounds it out when it's not too sharply sweet in a rye way, like with some rye spice to it. The sherry finish rounds that out, but in a good way, in a sweet way. So I'm gonna give it an 8.0.
I agree. I think the sherry finish on this is kind of where you want it to be. It's there, but it's not.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want to agree with you for the sake of like not giving the same score, but I'm gonna go 8.02. Like it's good. Price isn't. And I think for the price, it's kind of where you want it to be. Like it's sippable. Yeah. If you bought this for a party and most people wanted to sip it, great.
Yeah.
If not, someone wants a cocktail. I don't know. I don't think I would use this in a cocktail. I don't think it's robust enough.
Like you could.
You
like
definitely
could.
You definitely, yeah. I mean, something that's like a little bit lighter in that way.
Yeah.
Or not lighter, but like you're not looking for a lot of robustness.
Yeah.
Like something like if you're going to use a lot of like something sugary to kind of cut it. I don't think you'd want to use this because it's not robust enough to be like, oh, I can taste this alcohol. But if you're going to use something that has just like even if you did like a whiskey sour with it, might be okay because it's going to be more spirit forward and less sugar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you, man. 8 is great.
That sounds good.
All right.
Speaking of our ratings, I think it's time for our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News.
And we're back. Part of the show we call Whiskey World News, where we talk about it. Here we go. This one comes from the Washington Post. It's titled Supreme Court Rules for Jack Daniels in Fight Over Poop-Themed Dog Toy.
The old poop-themed dog toy.
Golly. My dog.
Can't get enough.
This is right up Bo's alley. He loves to eat poop. And he's part poodle, which is toy.
He's a dog.
The Supreme Court on Thursday sided with Jack Daniels in a trademark fight with a company that recast the whiskey's well-known bottle as a squeaky, chewable dog toy, associating the alcohol with poop. Cole called the poop. In a narrow, unanimous
sometimes we'll change her diaper and she'll be like, pee. And we're like, yeah, we're cleaning your pee. That's what we're doing. And then she'll be like, poop. It's so funny to me. We're like, no. We're just cleaning up your pee today. Poop.
The password is poop. As she announced the opinion from the ornate, hushed courtroom, Justice Elena Kagan held up the bad Spaniels chew toy at the issue of the bench, soliciting laughter from her audience and smiles from her colleagues. Why are they canceling this toy?
Courtroom.
Smile job. This case is about dog toys and whiskey, two items seldom appearing in the same sentence, Kagan wrote in a 20-page ruling featuring photos of the toy and its label. To further make her point with another example, Kagan went on to sing a few lines from the song Barbie Girl. Life in Plastic, it's fantastic. Can we get Kagan on? I got to get this Kagan gal on. This is like legal deposition, whatever writings.
Yeah.
The subject of an early trademark dispute
and she won.
The case in 2014 with VIP products. Well, we talked about this. They made a dog toy. Jack Daniels, which owns the trademark and distinctive bottle, objected to the joke and told the company, "Stop!" The parody in the company said, "Undermine those trademarks. Customers think Jack Daniels had created a toy." The High Court, but in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit reversed it, saying lower court did not take into account the periodic nature of the product. The appeals court judge relied on a rule sprung from dispute involving Ginger Rogers and Federico Fellini film, said Bad Spaniels, an expressive work entitled to First Amendment protection. The High Court reversed Thursday and said that rule does not apply in this case. The justice said the parody was not entitled to special First Amendment protection, in part because the dog toy company, VIP, had copied Jack Daniels' features on its own identifiers. It's not appropriate when the accused infringer has used a trademark to designate the source of its own goods. In other words, has used a trademark as a trademark, Kagan wrote. The kind of use falls within the heartland of trademark law and does not receive special First Amendment protection. Trademark law, Kagan said, is about avoiding consumer confusion about the source of a product. VIP uses marks in issued effort to parody or make fun of Jack Daniels, Kagan wrote, and that kind of message matters. In asserting confusion, because consumers are not likely to think that the maker of a mocked product is itself doing the mocking. I rest my case.
Wow. So we talked about this the last time we brought up an article similar to this.
We like
and I made a point that's like, come on, it's just a toy. Like, don't like do really are people gonna be like, crap, I don't want to drink Jack Daniels because it's got poop in it or something like that. It's like, dude, it's just parody. Like, it's just, I don't know. So I you know, Supreme Court, whatever, but or whoever took it. I think it was the Supreme Court.
It's state. I think it's state Supreme Court.
Oh, state Supreme Court. Oh, whatever. But either way, I still think like it's not that big a deal. And like what frustrated me about the whole thing was that Jack Daniels got so up in arms about it that they're like, no, we don't want them people telling. It's just get over it, dude. Like it's just a parody. I don't know. My opinion, but I'm no judge.
Again, I go back to my case set forth 3 months ago on this podcast.
Your Honor.
Del Bach whiskey. Go to their store on their website. And what do they sell, Cole?
Definitely not trucker hats yet.
They 5-panel hats. I want 5-panel hats.
Oh,
that's another lawsuit. They sell dog toys. Like, dude, if you want, dude, make your own dog. Like,
make your own dog toy. Yeah, Jack Daniels, make your own dog toy.
And you know what? I guarantee you make your own merch. You're not going to confuse anybody.
Yeah,
they'll go to your website. You'll put them in with like the Christmas packs of like glasses and a bottle of Jack, and people buy it. Boom, done. Yeah. Moving on. All right, moving on.
So our next segment of the show that we like to call "What Whiskey Would You Choose?" Now, Robbie put out a question earlier today, and I think it got, or yesterday, or whatever, and it got some good responses to it.
Well, here's the scary thing. These responses mean I need to shoot some shots.
Follow up. Yeah.
I need to follow up, which is not my strong point. So
did you see that I reached out to Buffalo Trace?
I did, and it scared me.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'll set it so far out that I can join that one.
Perfect. If that one comes through, you do that. Because last week I said, who should we try to get to co-host on Cole's paternity leave? 81% to 19% said Freddie Johnson to Bruzel. And you know what, Bruzel? I'm still coming for you, baby.
Yeah. Reach out.
So listener write-ins, and this is the part that scares me. Who gives a damn? Connor Gilbert said me. I replied back, that was the plan, you dummy.
That was the plan.
I always meant to.
No, I'm kidding.
Gosh.
We love Connor Gilbert.
But anyway, it was a long discourse of like, well, you never had us on. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then Marco Nazi,
he was very
Jimmy.
Humble.
He is. I like Connor. Connor can shoot the poo. He can throw. He can give. He gives as much poo as we can give back. Jimmy, Marco Nazi, Jimmy and Eddie Russell, Trenton from SLB Drinks. And then he's like, I got time as a teacher. He's like, I got time to like.
But he got a mic. Now I'm saying,
get a mic. We've had a couple of listeners say I can get a mic. I'll be on.
We had Broasca Dasquinosis. He reached out and he's like, I can get a mic.
Same with Jerome Edwards. Stuff's happening. I'm moving things. That
mic.
Was Whiskey Drinking Panda, the Grease. We had him on.
Yeah. And we'll do it again. I really want to have him on again.
Gosh, I am gonna reach out. I'm gonna reach out to the podcast. See if we can do it. Get one or the other.
Will too. That'd be killer.
It would be. Paul Clarkson 21, Fawn Weaver. She responded like she is a PR.
That'd be killer. That'd be a killer episode.
Let's see here. Sean Ciaro, Richard Patterson.
Oh, that'd be amazing. The downward guy. He is.
I guess it
so much. I would. I think
I will shoot the shot, but it's
you should. Not. So here's the thing about Richard Patterson is that would actually be a fantastic episode. I honestly think that Sean's answer was the best answer if we could actually pull it off.
Okay.
Like he would be amazing.
Here's the thing. I don't know. I am busy and I don't follow this stuff as much as some other people. So I don't even know.
But you should shoot the shot.
John friggin' I'm shooting all these shots. I will shoot these shots. And speaking of shooting shots, John friggin' Voldemort Hughes from Embellished Pod, I got to get some tips from you. So I will be reaching out. But he says, Alan Bishop and Robbie, it'll be a doo-doo show. He called the doo-doo. He called the poop doo-doo.
Yeah.
Brotasco, Don Draper, fictional character. I will
doesn't work here, but
gladly reach out to a Don Draper. I'm gonna get some guy in somewhere in Kansas. Killed the 518. Somebody met on your Matt Madness rounds. Already got one lined up.
Yeah, I did notice that. That's pretty cool, and they're very excited.
Oh, I like them too.
Yeah.
Brian Rapp, friggin' Mac Porter. We've tried. He denies us. He not annoys us. He avoids us. We tried last year. He doesn't like us. We tried with the Nulu Rye we did. He avoided us. He doesn't like us except for
the Nulu we did as a drink along.
Yeah, he didn't show up. But Matt, if you're listening, I'm calling you out.
Matt's totally listening.
Matt, if you join me, you can slap me in the face and call me uncouth because that's what I'm being. Drew Tolan at Another Bourbon Guy. I've never seen it because I don't consume.
Yeah, we're gonna check it out now.
And the most important one comes from a guy named R. Deadlow, and it says Cole.
Oh, that's deep. Maybe I'll step away from having a child.
Yeah,
make it happen.
I assume I'm gonna set stuff up, and if Cole sees him set up, he'll sneak away. That's what happened last time, but it's different this time because you have the two coming.
Yeah.
All right, Cole, do you have what whiskey would you choose for us?
I can swing one unless you.
Oh, I can swing one too. You want me to swing it?
Swing it. Yeah, you swing it.
All right. You just got done unclogging a toilet because your children flush things. You're frustrated. You burnt the toast because you were unclogging the toilet. The toast got burnt. You go back to get more, and it turns out it's moldy because you've been unclogging toilets for a month.
Yep.
You're a frustrated
What is your frustrated whiskey?
What's your frustrated whiskey? He's just saying,
I need a whiskey right now.
I need a timeout. What's your timeout from parenting?
That's a great question, actually, Robbie.
What's your timeout whiskey? Yeah.
I'm going to look at my stash for a second.
All right, I'll go first. Here's the thing. This is I just need a second. I need a second. It's past 5 o'clock. I'm not being irresponsible. I'm not neglecting. I just want to sit for a second and have a sip. And you know what I'm reaching for? I'm reaching for Early Times Bottle and Bond. That's what I'm going to go for. It's inexpensive. So just a sip is nice. It's a delicious, nutty, delicious thing. Delicious, delicious, delicious.
Super delicious.
Cole, what's your... I just need a second to be by myself and just...
So for me, if I'm frustrated, I'm going to have to want to go with something really nice. But it's something that is trusty, neat, but it's not overdoing it. Like something that I'm just like, this is incredible every time I have it. Takes my mind off of the frustrations I'm dealing with in life and just says, just be in the whiskey right now. And I want to say Stag Junior.
Oh boy.
Any batch.
We are I feel like we both have good reasoning here.
Yeah.
And it's
very different.
Definitely
but I'm probably going to win. But I didn't intend that.
No, that's fine. No, you have great reasoning. And never mind the bollocks. We got good reasoning.
We got good reasoning. Right. So, next week? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say next week, are we just going to do another, we'll figure it out? Or are we going to do...
Maybe I'll think of something. I'm looking at the list right now.
I tell you what, Cole. Let's just...
Blanton's Gold.
Okay.
Yeah. Blanton's Gold will be one of them.
Cole, let me just say this. Let's just stop here.
Yeah. Stop here.
Surprise. It'll be a surprise.
Let it be a surprise.
So Tuesday, something's going to pop up on Instagram. Vote for what you want to see between Bland's Gold and you never know.
Something else.
Cliffhanger episode.
Yeah. So with that, we love you, listeners. I hope you had a good time. I hope you will go out and try a sample or a pour of Minor Case. And I hope you wipe your butts.
And you know what, Cole? I hope
What's that?
You know, I never know how to end these things. Good night!
And we hope that our love of whiskey lifted your spirits.
I just wanted to drink with my friend, and now I'm hurt by an entire state.